Right then. Okay, here we are. 4th episode. Righty-ho, so episode 4. So we've worked our way over the last few weeks from birth up until 60 years old, and we're now going to do the last section of this little documentary, which is the 60th to the 80 years of my mum's long and illustrious life. So we start. What was the first big event of your 60s to 80s? It'll have been when you were about 66, and that was when...
Well, my 60th birthday, I suppose.
Well, you had a party, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh yeah, tell us a bit about that. What happened on your party?
Well, it was quite a big party. It was supposed to be a surprise party, but I knew about it, and it leaked out anyway. Somebody said, let it out, that they knew it was a surprise party.
Who leaked it, do you know?
Ron and Doreen.
Oh.
Well, Doreen grudging. She went to the same hairdresser as I did, you see, and the hairdresser knew I'd been in and had my hair done for a surprise party, and I think he let it out to her.
Oh, I see. Oh, never mind.
And it didn't matter, no. Well, I went over to Auntie Nora's out of the way while all this was going on in the afternoon, you see, and we had Anne and Frank, you and Nazma, the two lots of neighbours, Jerry and Glenys and Doreen and Morris. Who else came? That would probably be about it, I think. I've got some photographs of it somewhere, but I can't find them. Well, it was a jolly time, you know what neighbours' parties are like. We had plenty of good food and drink and the usual.
Yeah, I remember. In fact, the only thing I can remember it now you've mentioned it was some fairy lights around the edge of the table.
Were there? I
think there were a little battery. I just remember it's funny how strange
and
things.
I also had behind the in the corner of the room there was a big plant, and I had little white lights round the base of that. It was behind. I think it was behind that cabinet, and there was this big plant, and we had little white lights in it. Right. Which looked very effective. Yeah.
And how did you feel about being 60?
Well, it didn't bother me. It was worse being 30.
Yeah, yeah.
I sat up in bed and cried on my 30th birthday because I felt so old.
Yeah, and that was
just past, you know, just the same.
Where you were living at Newhall then,
yes,
weren't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So were Anne and Frank married then?
Oh yes, yes.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
So they've been married perhaps for a little while. So
they got married just about a year after us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it would have been, you'd have been 66, that was in 1997, that was when Princess Diana died.
Yes.
Which was a terrible event.
Yeah.
Can you remember that happening?
I think Eric was outside in the garage or something, and whether I heard it on the television or radio, but I know one of us told the other. I don't know whether he told... Well, he wouldn't have a radio in the garage, so it must have been me that told him, and I thought it was tragic, dreadful. She was so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Did you watch the funeral on the...
Yes, yeah.
Can you remember much about that?
Well, not really. It was a funeral and people throwing flowers all over the car and all that sort of thing. And I think she was interred on a little island in a lake.
Yeah, that's right, she was.
Yeah.
At the family home, wasn't it? So that people wouldn't...
Right. Yeah.
So that she'd be sort of, I suppose...
Left alone.
Left alone, yeah.
Yeah.
Having spent her life being the centre of attraction. Yeah. Another thing, in 2001, that was when the World Trade Centre was bombed by those aircraft. Do you remember that happening?
I remember seeing it on the television. It was terrible. Absolutely awful, really.
Yeah, it really shocked me when that happened.
Yes, and me.
That was awful. And of course the space shuttle.
Yes.
When that exploded with a teacher on board.
Yes.
Did you see that happen?
Can't remember that.
Right.
No, I can't remember that.
Yeah. So you've lived now to the ripe old age of 80. Congratulations. I mean, it's an increasing number of people do live to be that age, but...
I always used to say, you know, I'll live to a ripe old age and be a nuisance to everybody. Probably am.
Did you think you'd live to be this sort of age?
Well, I come from a long-lived family, particularly on my father's side, you see.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to Auntie Nora about it, and that's what she said. She really come from a very long-lived, well, quite a long-lived family in those days, you know, and but not on my mother's side, because my mother died at 68 with a, you know, massive heart attack.
Mm.
But on father's side, yes, it was. I suppose I take after that side.
Yeah, you probably didn't think a great deal about it, and just sort of take it as it comes. And
yes,
yeah.
that's right.
And that's
yeah,
probably the best way, isn't it?
it is.
So, are you sort of? Have you got any advice to anybody else about as you get older? I mean, you can look back now for say over the last 20 years, and how would you? Do you have any sort of advice for people approaching getting older? I mean, I'm 52 myself now. How would you advise someone to sort of approach getting older?
Oh gosh, well, it depends how well you are, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think your health is the thing. I think it starts with little things like, well, like you. I don't mean particularly you, but you know, you get a bit of arthritis in your neck and a bit of something else somewhere else, you know, and it sort of creeps up on you gradually, usually. And I think you've just got to battle on and make the best of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Have all the aids to daily living that you can, you know.
Yeah. Do you think there are any benefits to being older? Is there anything that you've...
I think you feel you can say more what you like without being, you know, you can be a bit rude to people perhaps, and say more what you like without being shouted at.
Yeah, yeah. Get away with more.
Yes, that's right, yes. Yeah.
And what sort of things do you really... Or is there anything that you really dislike about being older?
Well, just all the aches and pains and, you know,
Yeah,
the illness really.
yeah, yeah.
Because as you know, I've had my share.
Yes, well, that's you know, you spent some time in intensive care, didn't you?
Yes, yes.
How did all that come about?
I think that was the time when the cat fell off my knee and scratched my leg, and I got... oh no, I had a heart attack on the operating table when I had my colostomy done.
Right, right.
And that was one time I think I was in intensive care.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
That was the time.
And the next time was it about 4 years later, when I had the cat scratch my leg and got septicemia.
Right.
And I was unconscious then, wasn't I? Because you came and got me into hospital.
Yeah, I came and found you on the floor, and that was quite a to-do, wasn't it?
Oh.
And you've not got you've not got a very good memory of that, have you?
I can't remember it now. The one thing I do remember saying, and I must have been half conscious, was whether somebody says, "Oh, you have to go to hospital," I said, "Well, I'll have to go and make some sandwiches then."
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I wasn't really compos mentis.
Yeah. Yes, I can remember you saying.
And I
that.
remember waking up in the hospital, and a doctor that's standing there said, "Do you know where you are?" And I said, I must have just sort of come round, you know, and I was on the ward then, and I said, "Yes, I'm in the Wansbeck Hospital."
Yeah.
And he says, "What's the name of the Prime Minister?"
Yeah.
And I think I got that right.
Yeah. They're asking you all the questions to see how you're mentally alert you were.
Yeah.
So what's your sort of day-to-day life like now? How do you tend to pass the time? What's your...
Well, at the moment, you know, I used to do quite a lot of cooking, you know, making cakes and meals and that, but whether it's because I can't taste or smell, or just having had heart problems, which can affect your appetite apparently, so I'm told. You know, I don't do much cooking. I don't get up very early, and then potter about and have a sit in the garden if the sun's out, and we sometimes have a little trip to the shops. We've started doing that a little bit more now. I'm feeling a bit better, you know. Yeah. And going out for the odd meal. Evenings we watch television, of course, like the rest of the population do, most of them. Yeah. So
it's just a quiet little...
Yeah, quiet little life.
Anything you'd like to change about your life at the moment? I mean, you obviously you've got your sort of health problems to deal with. But
if I could walk better, it's struggling to walk that makes me get more out of breath than it would, you know. With my left hip becoming arthritic, Yes, I would like to get out more now. Now I'm feeling better, but when you don't feel really very well, you don't want to go anywhere.
No, no.
But we thought we'd go into New Biggin one day, perhaps, and I know there's only a little cafe or something there, but Anne goes in there and it's very nice, and perhaps try their fish and chips. And I'm hoping to have a little shopping trip to New Biggin Co-op, because I don't like the big supermarkets, and I'd like to be able to buy stuff that I want to cook. I think that will give me more incentive.
Yeah, yeah.
When you see something like a little, some nice lamb chops or something like that. But at the moment, you see, I'm not. I'm just having what Eric brings in.
Yeah.
Really, we make shopping lists, but it's not the same as going yourself.
Not actually seeing it.
Seeing things and saying, oh yeah, we'll have some of that, and we'll have some of that. And yeah.
So, what do you, in the last sort of 20 years, we mentioned about your 60th birthday party. What do you mean? What for you were the main events of those 20 years?
I'll tell you something I've never mentioned to you, but I think that trip, mind you, that was before. That would be before, would it? I went with you to Lennep in your caravan.
No, you were over 60 then.
Yeah.
Because that's.
Well, I think that was one of the nicest things that happened to me in
because
that 20 years.
you were living up in Woodhorn then, weren't you? You were living here then.
Yes.
So it's definitely within the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, talk a bit about that. What do you remember about that trip?
Well, trundling along in the shower, and we got on very well. Had some laughs, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But we had to sleep in the same bedroom, didn't we? Whether that was, in separate beds, obviously. Yeah. But I don't know what the rest of the people in the hotel thought, but that's what they put us in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not
I remember on the way there we stayed in Canterbury, was it? And we
that's right.
slept in the same bedroom there, didn't we? Yeah. In a little B&B, was it, that you knew?
Yeah, because that was when I was doing some teaching down there.
Yeah,
and so it was a place.
But it was a lovely adventure. I think that's the nicest thing that's happened to me in the last 20 years.
Yeah. Have you been on any other holidays at all in that time? I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember you going away. Other than down to Derbyshire, because you used to go to Derbyshire.
Yes, go and see Anne and stay at the coach house. I don't think we have really, no, not a proper holiday.
No.
We used to take Anne to Italy and that with us, when we were at Belper,
right,
when she was living with us.
Yeah.
No, we haven't really had a proper holiday. But we enjoyed the Derbyshire trips.
Yeah, because you used to go down there every few months.
Yeah.
Well, it was every 6 months.
Now I can't make it, so Anne comes up here.
Yeah.
Which is nice that she can, make her own way here.
Yeah. So there was a trip to Lennep. About the things. Trying to think if anything's.
Going round the museum with all the old X-ray equipment in at Lennep, because it's all stuff. A lot of it was stuff that I was familiar with.
Yeah. It's funny that, isn't it, when you go and look at stuff in a museum and you start recognising what you're actually using.
Yes. Makes you feel a bit ancient.
Well, there was stuff in there that I'd used at the Royal Infirmary in Derby in the very early days.
What's his name's, where he was born, the discoverer of...
Röntgen,
yeah. Röntgen's house, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
but it was a lovely trip, that was. I really enjoyed it. And when didn't you go photographing some of the equipment?
Yeah, I did.
And I sat in little cafes there and, had coffee, and it was lovely. And then in the evening, I think we went out for a meal or two, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We went. I remember at the cafe in the square there, we had something to eat.
Yes, and somewhere else we went one evening, but I didn't really want to come home.
Well, I think it's often true of holidays, isn't it?
If you're enjoying it.
Yeah, if you're enjoying yourself, it's you sort of, especially with the freedom of the road, just rolling around.
Oh yes, it was lovely, that one.
It's nice, yeah. It's a question I've got to ask, really. But if you had your time over again, would you do anything differently?
I wouldn't have got married so young.
Right, yeah, because you were 21, weren't you? Or was it
I'd only just qualified really when I got married.
Yeah.
And I would have had, like to have, at the time, I think my parents approved of my, Ian that I married, because he was a steady type, worked at Rolls-Royce. I know I'd had one or two more unsuitable boyfriends before that, but I think you think, well, most of my friends were married at that age, and you think, oh, I'd better get married, and at least my parents approved of him, and we got a little cottage across the road, of course.
Yeah.
So it's just, but I wouldn't have married so young. No, I would have had a bit of life with my mates and that, travelled and.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have not done radiography though. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Because I mean, in this day and age, sort of in 2011, people going away and doing things before they get married and having careers is very much the norm, isn't it? Whereas then it was.
You were expected to get married about that age.
You mentioned your friends. Did they all get married, or was there anybody who sort of
all about the same time? Same age.
People just weren't going off and doing anything.
You got married and had your kids, and
Yeah, and that was it. Any other things? Anything you might have done differently looking back? It's nice if there aren't. If you've generally been happy with what you've done, that's nice, isn't it?
Yes, I used to be happy when you were little and I was in the cottage, and gardening in the sunshine and that. And of course, then when I went back to work when you were about 5, you used to go to Mrs. Salisbury's, didn't you? When I was working. No, I don't think I would have changed anything. I say I wouldn't have married the chap I did marry, but there you are. You don't know that.
No, and you don't know. But the person that you ended up married to, in Ian, wasn't actually the person you married. From what I can gather, he turned out to be quite different.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So.
But don't you think a lot of men do this?
Yes, I do.
They put and women probably. Different face on when they're courting you, and then when they've got you under the thumb, it's a different story.
Yeah.
They're so mean,
Yeah, I think that is true.
Yeah.
I think that is true. You were born in an era of considerable austerity, particularly when the war came along.
Yes.
And we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Would you like to have been born at any other time?
No, I don't think I would. I know the war is a terrible thing, but the general sort of camaraderie and even the sirens going in the cellar and bombs dropping. As a child, you're not really frightened.
Yeah.
And it was all quite exciting. And I remember I didn't mention this before, but they had these things called smoke screens in the streets, and they were like a cylindrical thing that, I don't know what was burnt in them, that stood at intervals down each street where we lived, in Fleet Street. Oh, and the stink, they used to light these, and the smoke screen was obviously to hide the area from planes, German planes, but the smell was dreadful, and as soon as they lit them up, my father used to go and start vomiting, as he would.
Really?
Yes, I'd forgotten those.
And how long did they burn for? I've never even heard of them.
At night, in the night.
Well, they burnt all for hours and hours?
Oh, yeah. While the raids were on,
Right. Oh.
But I'd forgotten about those. They're like a tall, cylindrical, oven with a sort of a chimney thing on it.
Right.
But I don't know whether they were just sort of around the Rolls-Royce area or whether they were common all over the country, to be honest. Well, I know the smell was horrible.
I'd never heard of them.
Yeah.
Never heard of those at all. Oh, so you wouldn't have fancied being born in, say, Roman times or medieval times? Or...
Well, it depends what class you were, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to have been born amongst the paupers and that, but I suppose it wasn't bad if you were wealthy.
Yeah. You were interested in Egyptian history, weren't you?
Yeah.
Is
I'd
that
like
from
to have seen
school?
the pyramids.
Is that from school or?
I don't know, it just appealed to me, I think, the pyramids and passages inside them and... Yeah.
You mentioned that you just said that you'd like to have seen the pyramids. Are there any other things looking back now that you wish you had seen or wish you'd done? Anything you think, oh, I wish I'd gone so and so, or
I think I'd like to have seen Greece, Athens, and the Parthenon, was it, and there's all the ancient things like that. But not really. No, it was Egypt. I would like to have seen.
Yeah. Still, you see things so marvellously on television now, can't you?
Oh yes.
It's fantastic. Whereas in years gone by, you just
we often say when we see things like that, good heavens, fancy, I didn't know it was like that. And without television, we'd never have known what it was like.
No, it is remarkable.
And I think these shots they take from helicopters, of the ground and that, they're marvellous.
Yeah.
Like when you did the cycle thing.
Oh yes.
Tour de France.
Yeah.
We watched it every day on television.
Yeah. That was quite a performance. Because of course you spent all last summer watching the Tour de France, didn't you?
Yeah, every day. Yeah. And thinking, cool, Quentin's just done that bit on his own.
Yeah, that was quite a challenge. So if you look back to say when you were in your 20s and what society was like, how do you think things have changed now? If you look
in my 20s.
Yeah, from when you were sort of a student or whatever, how do you think? What do you think of? Really, what do you think of society now? How do you?
Not a lot, to be honest.
Really. Yeah.
Every time you put the television on, somebody's been stabbed or murdered or killed the children or shot and of course there's all the unrest in the world, isn't there? I mean, everywhere seems to be in a turmoil.
Yeah.
And all the natural things that are happening, like earthquakes and volcanoes and floods in Australia, and it seems everything has gone haywire at the moment. Even nature.
Yeah. What when you mentioned about the sort of stabbings and murders and all this, what do you put all this down to? What
drugs and alcohol, I suppose, some of it, but I don't know, the sort of people that that particular generation that were brought up, probably the ones that are in their 20s and 30s today, I always used to think they didn't have the sort of strict upbringing that probably we had.
Yeah.
The parents didn't keep an eye on them, and I think television is to blame for a lot. The parents just want to watch television and let the kids run wild, or shut them upstairs in the bedroom with their television, and I just don't think there's the parental guidance and control that there was.
No. Do you think, in terms of children being brought up, do you think discipline is something that comes from home or school, or where do you think it?
Both, really. I think
both.
Yeah. There's no use having a good school and that if your parents don't control you, is it? I mean, the teachers can't be watching you all the time, and vice versa, I suppose.
Yeah. How do you? I mean, you said that things are a mess with all the sort of violence and all the rest of it. If you had a magic wand, what would your answer to it be? How would you try and deal with it?
Oh dear.
If you had a completely free reign.
If I ruled the world.
Yeah, if you ruled the world. If you were Prime Minister.
Oh, I don't know really. There's so much that's wrong that wants putting right, isn't there?
Do you think it can be turned around?
I doubt it sometimes. I think all these riots, they're going from one area to another, aren't they? And I forgot where it is now.
Well, Libya at the moment, and then well, Egypt, then Libya.
And then it goes somewhere else and somewhere else. It seems to almost be like, what's the word? Not contagious, but...
yeah, it's contagious.
I can't think of the word I'm trying to... No, I can't think of it anyway.
Contagious, I think
they see somebody else doing it, so they start, and then somebody else starts, and all these... like Gaddafi and those people who are tyrants, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you can understand, I suppose, some of them revolting.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with you. I can't see an answer to it. I think it's all too far gone.
Yes.
And I think,
just hope it doesn't get too much worse.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, to a lesser extent, over here they're getting student riots, aren't they? And that in London and places.
Yeah.
In the streets.
Yeah.
Sort of catching somehow.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. What we don't know is whether anybody might have watched these programmes. Do you have any sort of I don't know, sort of any message you'd like to send out to anyone that's been watching this little life story of yours, or to people who might see it that you've known over the years? Anything at all?
Well, I was going to... Have we finished it now? Because I was going to end up... Because you usually ask me if I've got anything to say to people, but what I would say is live every day as if it was your last, because it might be one day, you know?
Yeah, I think that's very true.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, well, I don't know. Are there any other areas that you want to cover? I feel we've covered quite a...
Yes, I can't sort of think of anything offhand. If you try looking back over your life, there's an awful lot to cover, isn't there? You can't. You're bound to miss a lot of it. No, I think we've done pretty well, really, with your, asking me all about it.
Probing questions.
Well, you've made me remember a lot of things.
Yeah, because I think particularly with this session being from 60 to 80, with the best will in the world, generally between the ages of 60 and 80, the number of things that you're doing does go down.
Of course it does.
You've not got a career to talk about and that sort of thing. That's all. You've had your children and that sort of thing. So you're sort of just pottering on from day to day, particularly dealing with not feeling very well.
Yes, but I think I'm always grateful that I've got you and Anne, it's children.
Yeah. No, well, I think this has been great. I think that
whatever I think about my first husband, at least I've got you and Anne.
Something came of it. Yeah. But all I can say is I think this has been great. For me, it's been brilliant because there's a permanent record of just sitting, chatting to you and things about your life that I would definitely have forgotten.
Yes.
So I think, and
probably about your life that you'd forgotten. Yeah.
And I'm just grateful to you for spending the time to sit and talk about things and rack your brains and dig some photographs out. And I know it's not.
Yes, it's been a good. It's been good for me.
Yeah.
Given me an interest,
So that's great. I think what we'll do is, I don't know, perhaps in a few months' time or 6 months' time, 12 months' time, we'll just sit down again and have a review of the year or whatever. And,
yes.
Yeah. Because that's an easy thing to do.
Yes.
But I think we've essentially covered the first 80 years.
First 80. I don't think there'll be another one, but still. Yeah.
And that's great to have a round of applause for you.
Oh, thank you.
Cheers.